Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Broyans Farm. So we just got here to Scranton Market. Truck is completely empty, and we're in the process of getting everything out on the tables. Every time it's a little different because we have new vegetables that we're starting to harvest.
Any purple cauliflower?
No. Yeah. Oh no, not really. There's only one head. Don't worry about it. $15 basket for corn now. $4.50 for 6. Logan, how many do you want to see? She's got more bags here. Come on. So when you need them, let me know. Thank you.
Dill's $3 a bunch.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I know. I have a bunch of them. I need to dehydrate.
Huh?
It's about long time.
Is your mother there?
Yeah. We have to.
These baskets are $3 a basket, 2 baskets for $5. Two for 5. You need 2 for 5. You get 2 baskets.
Hot peppers tonight. Mild hot.
Thank you.
Mild hot peppers for hot pepper lovers. Are you a hot pepper lover? No, I do like spice, but not hot. Well, they're mild hot. I'm gonna pass because I have a tooth nose and I don't want to take a chance. Yeah, sometimes some years are hotter than others. Yes, you gotta be careful. Yeah.
Yellow beans?
Maybe it'll be $10.
I got plenty of change, yeah?
Friday, I'm bringing the thing down.
All right. And I thank you. Okay, thank you. Have a good one. Okay.
You want onion or cucumber?
You want onions or cucumber?
No, over by the hill.
Miss, you want an onion or a cucumber?
Onion.
Onion. $4.50. How are you?
I'm okay. How you doing?
Good. What can I get for you?
I'm gonna keep it happy.
Hi. Would you want to bank or leave it straight?
Doesn't matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dozen, please.
How are you?
Okay, it's $3.
This is the first time seeing you. Happy New Year. Oh, please,
And there you go. How much do you want?
So I just got home and unloaded everything in the cooler. That way we can take it back to market again tomorrow on Thursday. But we ended up having a very good day. I actually couldn't even record a lot because I wanted to keep the tables full and wait on customers. So it's the next morning, but look at the sun. It's like blood red. Dad just went down to hook up the plastic layer. We're gonna go finish laying our last plastic for the season, and that's gonna be for our pickles, cucumbers, and zucchini. What are you doing? It's on your head. We're not taking that wagon, Dace. Okay. Dad just got the layer hooked up. We got our plastic roll on there. We're ready to go. All right. Drop it. Okay. So we just finished up just 4 smaller rows, but now what I gotta do is go back through and cover my ends. If we're doing a lot of plastic, we'll have Sammy stand at one end, Frank at the other, then me and Dad will lay. That way they can keep covering ends while me and him keep laying. But it was only 4 rows, so I'm just gonna do it myself. The ones where we go out, we have a lot extra, like this one here. And then when we come back, I can cut it nice and short, like this one right here. And so it's only really 2 out of the 4 rows on each end, which makes 4 rows all together that I have to cut up. And so I'll trim up these rows right here. I'll take my shovel, cut the plastic. That should be pretty good. And I can just grab it and rip it up out. So now all we have to do is cover it with dirt and it's set. Just got Dad sent off to market. It's Friday, so he's going to Scranton. We had to back a load of our garlic in that Sammy and Frank and Sydney got harvested just because it's gonna rain and we want it to start drying out before we put it in our barn. It's not even quite full, but I think once they're done picking zucchini, which is what they're doing right now, they're gonna hook up to that and then take it back out and finish filling it. As for myself, I'm heading down to the barn where the pressure washer is. I'm gonna wash this plastic layer off and then put it away for the season. There goes Dad. They are calling for rain this afternoon, so we're gonna try and get our most important jobs done first. And then anything after that, you know, is just extra. But hopefully he has a good day at market because usually when they call for rain, people don't wanna come out. So I just got up here to our late season cabbage field, and as you can see, the plants really haven't even really started taking hold yet. They're growing just a little bit, putting on maybe 1 new leaf. But down here on the lower side, which haven't started coming up yet, is our beans. Dad did this by hand, actually right here, or not really by hand, it's with like a little bike thing, but there's a seed laying on top of the ground. I don't think we've had any rain since he planted them, and that'll be a big factor of how soon they came up. So now out here, we just have barren ground where we have nothing in there. So what we're thinking about doing is putting some dill in, which I just got the seed. There's no rows, there's no fertilizer in the ground. It's just basically bare ground, nothing's in it. And so I'm just gonna kind of go about 10, 15 feet off the corn and make 1 or 2 rows and plant this dill by hand. So this little divot in the ground is speaking to me. I'm gonna first go through with this little hoe type V thing and go down about 2 inches. Then I'll go through, spread my dill in that little ditch, and then I'll go back over with that, I'm not sure what that's called either. It's like a spiky rake, whatever you wanna call it, and just rake it in a little bit. Maybe I'll start back here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I don't have to go much deeper than that. And we're also supposed to be getting rain later today. So that should help it take off well. Come on, rocks. Now the seed is pretty tiny. I always end up putting too much in. But if you can see that, just little flakes. So I'll go through here lightly. Now I will take my rake and do this number here. I do about 2 or 3 more rows just like that. And that'll be it for our planting dill. So I just finished up. You can see my first, second, and third row. I think I did a pretty good job. The only concern I have now is that it's pretty late in the season, so I don't know if it's gonna get fully mature, but only time's gonna tell. I came down over the hill and seen the watermelon patch and thought, well, I'm gonna check them out, see how they're doing. And I just pulled this yellow doll out. Now these are seeded, but look at that yellow belly. And it sounds prime. And they're loaded. Like, I see a lot out here. So if these are ready, we can start picking. I know the red and the yellow seedless probably aren't ready yet because they just take longer to ripen. But these look pretty good. I do see some crow holes where they pecked into them. But that's all old. Since I got those balloons out here with the ribbon, I haven't seen any out here, so I don't really think they're doing any damage. It's all just old now. But I mean, there's 1, 2, 3. Now these are smaller, not ripe. 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, they're just thick through here. So I can't wait to see if this is ready or not. Okay, so I got a couple things to say. First off, that watermelon was not ready. It was still kind of whiter inside than more yellow. So I threw that away. They'll probably be on in about a week, I would say, hopefully. Second thing was that we just had a Penn State extension lady come and check out some things around our farm that we've been having questions about. First thing is that in our high tunnels, our tomatoes now are turning, like, they're trying to turn red, but they're more yellow, meaning that they're kind of a little bit hard on the inside. They still have decent flavor, and most of them are still sellable, but we have to sell them for number 2s because they're not the perfect red tomato that a normal person would just buy. And so we wanted to see why that was happening. And the first thing that the lady said was that we have a potassium deficiency in our greenhouse, which just means that we need to fertilize them more. But now we have all these tomatoes here. Not all, but a lot of these tomatoes here are gonna need to be sold as number 2s because they have this yellow on them. If they're too bad, we might just have to throw them away. It's a lot harder. It's kind of like a green tomato and half of a red tomato. It's weird. I don't know how to explain that. I'm sure you guys might have seen this before, but we don't like to sell anything that's not perfect. And if we do, we definitely want to mark it down in price. Like right here, this one has a mild case of it. This one is almost perfect, but there is a lot here that are gonna have to be sold as number 2s. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get the fertilizer running on this. And I think she said, which she's gonna get back to us, but we're gonna need to fertilize them twice a week to take care of this problem. On the bag, it said only do it once a week. And you know, sometimes we get busy, we forget about things, and we wouldn't do it for almost 2 weeks at a time. But now that I realize how important this is, I'm gonna make sure I do it every week, maybe twice a week, depending on what she says. And the second thing is our peppers. The peppers that are on each bush look great, there's nothing wrong with them, but they have what's called bacterial leaf spot, and there's really nothing we can do to get rid of the problem. We can just manage it now at this point. And so she's gonna get back to us on some sprays that we can spray over top and keep the disease down and keep it from spreading. But there is a lot of peppers, and hopefully if I have time, I'll get up there to show you that the bushes just aren't looking too great. And these are problems that just occur year to year. This year seems to be quite a bit worse than others. Usually, I would say out of all the veggies we grow, we have one problem in one of our veggies every year. But this year, obviously, there's 2 or 3 problems. And a lot of that comes from that really, really hot, dry weather we had in the beginning of the season. And no rain. What happens is when Dad lays the sprays down to keep weeds down, they don't get activated because it's not only too hot, but because the water also activates it. So many problems come just from the weather, not just having any rain at all. So these are just things we have to deal with, and we have to, you know, work with it. But there's really nothing we can do now at this point to stop it. But don't get me wrong, we're not going to be bringing bad produce. We're not going to be selling bad produce at any of our markets. We always make sure we have the best and we bring the best. If it's not right, we won't bring it. If it's good but also not quite perfect, we'll sell it for less. And that's also why we just plant extra plants, because we might have lost some plants to that bacterial leaf spot, but we plant a couple thousand extra. That way we can use the good bushes and just let the bad go. And that's what I'm gonna call it a wrap for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember, it ain't much, but it's honest work.